Today is January 7th, 2026, and the world is still reeling from the bombshell U.S. military operation in Venezuela just 2 days ago. Codenamed Absolute Resolve, American forces launched precision strikes across northern Venezuela, capturing President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, in a raid that feels straight out of a Hollywood thriller. Explosions rocked Caracas, military bases were hit, and now Maduro's en route to face U.S. charges on narcoterrorism and cocaine trafficking. But here's the burning question on everyone's mind. What's next? President Trump has already declared that the U.S. will run Venezuela during a transition period, hinting at a hands-on role in reshaping the country. With Maduro out of the picture, what targets might top the U.S. list for follow-up actions? We're not talking wild guesses here. This is based on patterns from the initial strikes, unsealed indictments, and expert insights into U.S. strategy. Remember, folks, this is speculation grounded in open-source reporting, not insider leaks. Let's dive in. First, let's set the stage. The January 3rd strikes weren't random. Reports from ABC News and other outlets detail how U.S. forces hit communications antennas, surface-to-air missile systems, ammo depots, and key air bases like La Carlota in Caracas. Over 150 aircraft were involved, including fighters and surveillance planes. The goal? Neutralize threats to the raid team and cripple regime defenses. This follows months of U.S. actions in the Caribbean and Pacific, where over 30 vessels were struck in counter-narcotics ops, killing around 115 people. Trump framed it all as a war on drugs, but critics call it a prelude to regime change. Now, with Maduro captured, the U.S. isn't packing up. Trump mentioned a team, including heavy hitters like Secretary of State Marco Rubio, to oversee a safe transition. That implies ongoing operations. So, what could be on America's next targets list? I've broken it down into categories: high-value individuals, military assets, economic infrastructure, and symbolic sites. We'll explore each with why they might matter and potential ripple effects. Category 1: high-value individuals. Maduro wasn't alone on those unsealed indictments. The U.S. Justice Department has long targeted the so-called Cartel of the Suns, Venezuelan officials allegedly involved in drug trafficking. With Maduro in custody, eyes turn to his inner circle. Top of the list? Delcy Rodríguez, Venezuela's vice president and now acting leader. She's been Maduro's right hand, handling foreign affairs and oil deals. Reports from AP News suggest she's rallying loyalists in Caracas. If the U.S. wants a clean transition, neutralizing her influence could be key, perhaps through diplomatic pressure or, in a worst-case scenario, another extraction op. Why her? She's tied to Russia and China deals, which Trump has called foreign adversaries, meddling in the hemisphere. Next up, Diosdado Cabello, the powerful PSUV party boss and former military man. He's been indicted since 2020 on narco charges, accused of shipping tons of cocaine to the U.S. Cabello controls militias and has a cult-like following among hardliners. If unrest boils over, and protests are already flaring in Maracaibo, he could be seen as a destabilizer. Speculation from Atlantic Council experts suggests the U.S. might prioritize him to prevent a guerrilla backlash. Don't forget Tarek El-Aissami, the ex-vice president who's gone underground. Indicted for sanctions evasion and drug links, he's rumored to control hidden assets. Or Vladimir Padrino Lopez, the defense minister, who's commanded troops loyal to Maduro. If the Venezuelan military fractures, and some units are already defecting, Padrino could be a rallying point for resistance. These aren't just names, they're nodes in a network. Targeting them could involve cyber ops, asset freezes, or special forces, echoing the Maduro raid. But it risks backlash. Cuba's already reported 32 officers killed in the strikes, hinting at foreign fighters in the mix. This episode is brought to you by SecureNet VPN, because in a world of geopolitical chaos, your data shouldn't be next on the target list. Moving on to Category 2, military assets. The initial strikes took out missile systems and comms hubs, but Venezuela's arsenal is vast. thanks to Russian and Iranian supplies. What's left on the list? Fort Tiuna, the massive military complex in Caracas, could be a prime candidate. It's the nerve center for the armed forces, housing tanks, helicopters, and command posts. If U.S. forces aim to secure the capital, neutralizing any holdouts there would be logical. Then there's the Sucre Air Base near Cumaná, a key eastern hub with fighter jets and radar. Reports suggest it stored Iranian drones, which Trump has blasted as menacing weapons. Striking it could cut off regime air support and signal to Tehran, stay out. In the west, the Rafael Urdaneta Air Base in Zulia might draw attention. It's near oil fields and has been used for drug flights, per U.S. intel. With Trump's emphasis on counter-narcotics, any sites linked to trafficking runways could be flagged. And let's not overlook naval bases like Puerto Cabello. The U.S. has been hitting vessels offshore. Expanding to ports could secure sea lanes and block arms shipments from allies like Russia. The strategy here? Dismantle the military's ability to resist transition. But experts at Chatham House warn this could violate international law further, sparking a humanitarian crisis if civilian areas are affected. Category 3. Economic infrastructure. Venezuela sits on the world's largest oil reserves, over 300 billion barrels. Trump has openly said U.S. companies will develop them. So, securing oil assets could top the list. The Orinoco Belt, that massive heavy oil region in the east, is a gold mine. Sites like the Jose Terminal have been sanctioned for years. If the U.S. runs the country, expect moves to protect refineries and pipelines from sabotage by loyalists. PDVSA headquarters in Caracas, the state oil company, might see U.S. oversight. It's been a corruption hub, with billions siphoned off. Targeting execs or facilities tied to illicit deals could be framed as anti-corruption. Power grids and dams like the Guri Dam are vulnerable. Remember the 2019 blackouts Maduro blamed on U.S. cyber attacks? If instability threatens energy, the U.S. might intervene to stabilize, though that's a slippery slope to occupation. Economically, this is about flipping Venezuela from a socialist basket case to a U.S.-friendly producer. But, as CFR notes, without a democratic plan, it risks turning into an open-ended occupation focused on oil grabs. Finally, Category 4, symbolic sites. These are less about firepower, more about messaging. The National Assembly building in Caracas, already hit in the strikes, could be fully secured to install a transitional government. It's where opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez might step in per 2024 election disputes. Miraflores Palace, Maduro's former residence, symbolizes regime power. U.S. forces might use it as a command center, echoing past interventions, like Panama in 1989. Border crossings with Colombia, hotbeds for drug and migrant flows, could see joint ops. Trump has mused about extending actions to Colombia, but starting with Venezuelan side targets like smuggling hubs in Táchira state. And media outlets, state-run TV stations accused of propaganda, might be reformed to broadcast transition messages. Wrapping up, this next targets list isn't exhaustive. It's a hypothetical roadmap based on Trump's rhetoric, strike patterns, and expert takes from places like the Atlantic Council and WOLA. High-value arrests could decapitate the regime, military hits secure control, economic grabs fund recovery, and symbols rally support. But risks abound: regional backlash from Brazil and Mexico, global condemnation from Russia and China, and potential quagmire for U.S. troops. What do you think? Is this the dawn of a Don-roe Doctrine, as Trump quipped, or a recipe for endless conflict? Drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more, and stay tuned. Because in geopolitics, today's speculation is tomorrow's headline. This is Alex Rivera signing off from Global Flashpoint. Stay vigilant.